Hi to all. We can maybe wait for a minute or two to see if more people will join us. And in the meantime, I would love to welcome everyone. And thank you for joining to this edition of the NGI Talk, the impact of interactive technologies on the future of new media. Maybe a few words about the new European Media Initiative. So amongst many other things, it commits to mainstream responsible research and innovation approaches for ensuring that technology and content-based innovations are human-centric, inclusive, and accessible to everyone, and it also addresses social and environmental challenges along the way, which goes really aligned with the NGI initiative idea that this event is powered by. Our guest today is Pierre Yves Danet, one of the creators of the new European Media Technology Platform. Pierre graduated from a high French engineering school and joined the Orange France Telecom in 1991, taking the responsibility of a research group on ISDN. He set up a lab on home automation and then moved to the application server research domain. In 2005, at the creation of the new European Media Technology Platform, he was representing Orange at the steering board and was appointed vice chair in charge of strategy in 2007, and he led the activities addressing content contribution in partnership with the Networld 2020. In 2010, he received the senior grade of SEE, and since 2013, he has been in charge of collaborative research Europe at Orange Labs, also leading the Ethno Research and Innovation Group, and represents Orange in the AIOTI. He has also been appointing the French contact point for the Next Generation Internet Initiative, and he is also leading two initiatives dealing with the DIH, one on behalf of AIOTI to set up an Internet of Things DIH network, and one on behalf of the 5G Infrastructure Association to set up a 5G DIH network. In case you have any questions along the webinar, please feel free to drop it in the question section. Pierre, thank you once again for joining us today. It's really good to have you here with us. And I would say that the floor is yours. So whenever you feel, just start, and hear you later at the end. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nina. So do you see my screen? Because I think that there are some modifications on my...
Yes.
Yeah,
we can see
it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining. Yes, I would like to give you some information about so the media and content part of the NGI, I would say. So mainly on interactive technology and media. And my presentation will be Okay. The agenda for my presentation is the following one. First, I would like to give you some highlights about the 2030 vision that has been recently updated by the new European Media Platform. Then I will give you some thought about the strategic research agenda, the corresponding strategic research agenda coming from the vision. And then, so I will make a focus on interactive technologies, and obviously the link with the NGI initiative. And then, so we should have some time for questions and answers. So just to remind you, so what is NEM? So as Ina said, so NEM has been created in 2005. So it's a long time ago. So it has been some new elaboration since this date, but somewhere Today, NEM is the Horizon 2020 European Technology Platform dedicated to content and connected content, because so the initial aim of the platform was to bring together people from the media side, media and creative side, and so people from the communication side, I would say, in order to take advantage of the two parts, two value chain, and try to see how to better cooperate between these two type of organizations. So today, NEM community is around 1,200 organizations from 78 countries. So you have so most of them are from industry, which is very good. There is also a number of members which are SMEs, because in the CCI, so connecting and creative industry, there are a lot of SMEs, and it's very good because so they are active in our group, and so these SMEs are not usually using so the European funds for project, and so we try to educate them in order to help them to apply to the different codes, and it's one of the main target of our activity. Just to give you some thought about NEM and NGI. Since the beginning of NGI, so in 2017, so we were already, in liaison with the NGI initiative, with the European Commission on all the corresponding project. And so we obviously see that there are some complementarity between NEM and NGI in some parts of obviously of NGI. And so we have conducted a survey among NEM members, to better understand what should they expect from the next generation internet. And so the answers are in front of you. So sovereignty is one of the most important value for them, and obviously in the media sector it's key, because so in media sector there are a lot of problems of disinformation or quality of content and so on, and it's key to have some information that could be produced by European companies, and which follow so the European rules and European values. Then second point is on the diversity and the pluralism of such internet, which is key, obviously, for the media and content industry as well. So the fact that all the data are concentrated on a few proprietary platforms, and mainly US platforms, and that is not very in line with the mood of European media and content organizations. They would prefer, to be able, to manage their own data on European platforms and so on. And it's one of the key points that they have highlighted as well. Then, so protection of personal data is also something which is important, because most of the content and media are today personalized regarding so user personal data, so location, mood, behaviors, and so on. And for them, it's key that this personal data should be managed by the end user themselves, in order to have a single, how could I say, a single database of personal data that media and content provider are able to access. And so data spaces are very important technology area that NEM obviously are interested in. So therefore, so for them, NGI should focus on personal data space, and obviously address sovereignty of data, and so regarding the storage and the personal data management. And so NGI should also develop technologies that facilitate access to personal data and to personal data space and to media in a structured way, meaning that interactive technologies is also something key in order to help people, to consume the new media and content and all the creative industry so provide. So that's more or less, the topics that that have been so came of this survey in 2017, so 3 years ago, and I guess it should be a similar thing if we make the survey this year. Looking so the name vision that has been so built, so it was beginning of 2020. So you may know that obviously our sector, which is a cultural media sector, encompasses a number of different so content providers, such as TV, radio, films, video, game, music, fashion. So there are a number, of people that are part of this cultural industry. And so you just have figures, so on the left side of the of this slide, which somewhere try to organize so the different actors in this domain. And looking to that, these people, which are content provider, creative industry, and so on, are not really aware, so except some of them, obviously, about ICT technologies. And it was, as I told you before, so the objective of NEM, to establish liaison between both worlds. And today, so these people are really attracted by the new interaction technologies. Because they see, that there are new technologies around augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D, and so on, that could help them, to create some new content, obviously, but also to adapt existing content in order to help end users to consume it in a better way. So it's really what they are looking to. They are also looking, as I told you to before, about so the personalization of the content according to the end users, and using sensors, using personal data, using any type of data that could take advantage of AI to give some more personalized content to the end users. And that's also one of the big trends of the last 2 years. So obviously, yes, education also is part of the game, that so could also take advantage of ICT technologies, for instance, for remote education and so on, that could be used. And that has been used, during this last period, looking to the COVID crisis. So that's more or less, so the vision that that has been set up by the group. And going into this vision, so we have developed a document that so try to propose and define the values, the drivers, and the objectives that should have a researcher in this topic. And so we have identified, within the community, so these 5 main topics. So the first is to be diverse and pluralistic in order to cover all the needs from European consumer. To be ethical, transparent, and accountable, which is also very close, to NGI concept, but it's really, in the heart of the development of European content and media. To be inclusive, accessible, human-centric, and sustainable, everyone should access to this content. And it's why, so since some years we have developed, this Atawad concept, anything, anywhere, for anyone, meaning that anyone could access to a content, whatever is so the type of devices that they are using, TV, mobile, tablets, PC, and so on, but also wherever they are, what is the connectivity that they have around them. And that's something that is key and central in our thinking. Then to be democratic, supporting and social cohesion. So it's really, in line with European values, and so we need to keep so this topic in the content produced, and also to be a lighthouse for media and CCI technologies, not only in Europe but worldwide, because so the community thought that so in the past European was very creative, so provide a lot of content, but since 10 or 20 years, US came over with so key players, and so we thought that there are still a place for specific content and media coming from European with the European values and so on. So it's really, so what we are trying to push in this vision paper. And obviously, so we want to use all the up-to-date technologies to make it better used and consumed by the end users. So we have developed so 9 main activities and challenge that should be developed, in the next so research program. The first one should address human-machine interaction. So how to help people to better access to this media and content. Interactive technologies, which should also is a keyword, and we will come back on that one, obviously, because it's the aim of this talk today. The software is coming more and more, in the definition of the realization of the movies and music, films, and all creation. So software is more and more so important, and obviously it's contribute also to the interactive technology and the human-machine interface. And then, so the fourth one is a library and archive of creative digital assets. So how to better how could I say store and all our content, all our creation, and make it available to anyone when they want. So it's really a thing that we want to develop. So what we need to develop also is so the value chain, and how so people which are making some creation should be paid for their creation. As I told you, so most of so the creator are singles or very little SMEs. And so sometimes they do not have any possibility, to make an invoice for a short piece of content, and maybe some specific tools, to pay easily with a mobile or something like that for a specific creation could be a good point as well. So then the fifth one is on the user-driven content, meaning that you see already in some movies, that so people should be able to influence so the way of the movie itself, and so it's very so it's more and more used, and it's something that should be developed with new technology as well. We need to protect so the user, obviously. So regarding the European so rules, European mood and behavior. That's something very important. So we spoke about disinformation and so on, and it's something that we need to take into account and use some technology such as AI, for instance, to detect and identify so bad content that should be avoided for distribution. So new sensing device. So that I told you today also. So due to the high personalization or hyper personalization of content, sensing device could also be used, for haptics and so on, but also to personalize the content itself. Integration networks. So it's a content distribution part. Meaning that the 5G is coming. It will offer some specific capabilities, which is a slicing capabilities, which could adapt the network to the needs of the application. And if you look to media, for instance, movies, so you need high bandwidth to get very high definition content. But if you look to games, they don't have they don't like so high bandwidth, but low latency, for instance. And if you are playing games, 5G network is able to adapt itself in order to bring a better lower latency, but maybe not high bandwidth. So it's a type of possibilities that will be offered by the next network that could obviously so be also used by media and content application. And obviously, so the last one is AI, which should also be used, not only to detect disinformation, but also, to prepare and to develop some new concept of creation that could be used by analyzing a big amount of data or some other things. So that's the 9 topics that are on the front for the next period. Now, from so this vision document, so we have defined an updated version of the strategic research and innovation agenda, which somewhere is trying, to identify the main research topics that should be developed in the next future, in next period, in order to achieve so this vision. And so the name community, based on the vision that I just present to you, has identified 13 subjects, which has been classified in 4 categories. The first is on the media format, the new media format, so 3D, HD, 6D OF, and so on. There are a number of new media which give a new dimension of the media and content. So the future media network, which is close to what I just said regarding the 5G slicing capacity. The AI for media and content, which is also one topic that I have already addressed, and future media applications challenges, where we can find there, all which deals with interaction technology, and I will make a focus on that. So looking to the future media format, so today, so there are already some novelties which are coming up, but so we have identified 2 of them which seem to us very promising. The first one is a 5D light video field, which use specific cameras and a number of cameras which are assembled all together in order to give a better realistic world so to the end user. So somewhere it's not it's still not holographics, but it's not so far, because so obviously you still need screens and so on, but it's something that begin to give you an impression that you are in a real life, so looking to a specific content. And then, so complementary to that, obviously, you have the volumetric media, which facilitate interaction with so XR environment, and obviously, so give you also some immersive technology, which help as the first one, people to be immersed in a specific environment. So there's the two main points for the future media format that the community is willing to push. Then you have the smart media networks, as I told you. So we spoke about the slice and also the creation and distribution of content. So the personal usage and data management, which is also key, as I told you, in order to personalize so the content, so regarding the end user willingness. So you have the network itself, which should be able to provide to end user so a specific content adapted to the type of device that he is using, and obviously according to the location where is he and so on, the environment and so on. You have also a big point on energy optimization, because obviously you may know that Horizon Europe will also be close to the Green Deal, and so media and content is one of the most consuming application, because so it needs a lot of bandwidth, it is a lot of cameras and so on to be produced, and so we need from the content production to the content distribution find some way, some possibility to decrease so the energy consumption of also the different parts of the chain. And the last one is on cybersecurity. So it's also one big challenge for Europe, and we need to be able, to secure content transmission from a point 1 to a point B. So in order to avoid, some transformation of the content on the flow and so on. So there are a number of possibilities which are offered, but media and content is something that has to take advantage of this specific topics. Then you have artificial intelligence for media and content. User generating content is something which is more and more used today, and it's not finished. Since several years, people are catching photos, videos, and so on, and post on social media, so there are a need somewhere, to be able, to find specific content, and for that, there was some metadata which has been put in place some years ago, but it's not sufficient, because behind metadata, you also need, when you have tagged a specific content, you need, to find some tools, to extract and identify a specific a specific topic regarding this metadata. And AI should obviously help, to find the right information at the right moment. So there are also, in other way, the possibility to generate automatically some content for creative industry, but also for media, from movies and so on. AI could also help, and also to profile the user in order to understand their need and to personalize the content according to their need. So that. That's really the topic that have been identified for these specific topics. And then, so you have the last one, which is a future media and application and challenges. So the first one, it's the objective is to develop, so based on social media technologies. So the possibility to make a huge convergence between all the media industry, to give to the end user So a possibility to access to a number of content coming from different sources, and so sometimes able, to make some liaison between those, and help, the European industry to develop some new some new content according to specific sectors. It could be for education, it could be for health, sorry, it could be for industry. So any vertical sector now needs some content, some media in order to operate their own business, but also to educate their staff. So there are some possibilities here. Then you have the social extended reality, which it's a new concept for remote communication. So it's a future social media. So we thought that it's not only people which will create content, but in the future, so also object, so we'll be able to create some content, and the object could also so exchange content through specific social media. So networks of objects, I would say, and so driven by artificial intelligence, and those those type of social network could help to create new content, where, for instance, several cameras are able, to communicate together via a social network, and and produce new content and providing to the end user or to a media producer that could also so after embed so this specific piece of content in a new movie or something like that. So that's a new concept that we are willing to develop. Next one is on the immersive and interactive technology for content and creation, and I will make a focus on this one so in the following slide. And so obviously, so this information is also something that we need to take into account. It's a big challenge, for the European media and content and creative industry in order to be trustable by end users. And today, it's not exactly the case. So making a short focus on immersive interactive technologies, because it's somewhere one of the topic that is handling by so NGI. So the idea is to obviously to use so all the new technologies which are helping people to interact with the media and to consume the media or content. Today, most of the content are created by content producer and bring to the end users. It could be a movie, it could be music, it could be anything. There is no a lot of interaction between the content producer and the end user. And the idea now is to give the possibility to the end user to interact with the content itself in order to modify it or to personalize it with specific activities. So it's really what we are willing to do, and obviously such a new product should also ensure end-to-end quality of service and quality of experience, which is not very easy, because if you look to a basic content which is created for everyone, when one or several or hundreds of people are willing to modify this content, interacting with the content, it will be very, very complex, and a lot of interaction could take place at one time, and so maybe quite difficult, for the computing capacity to and the network of course to follow all all these manipulations, and it's something that we that has to be addressed. Second point is obviously to take advantage of the 3D and all the type of new technology regarding video, audio, animation, text, music, and so on. So there are a number of possibilities now, and so today So obviously there are some proof of concept which are existing, but it has not been completely put in place in a business in a business experiment, for instance. And so there are a number of topics to address in order to ensure at the end that the end user is able, you know, to consume all this content and media without being sick. For instance, if you look to the watches, so the 3D watches or 3D or XR watches and so on. So there are a number of things to address in this point. And but we thought that there are still place for research in this topic, and obviously to give some possibility for technology provider to provide some new type of technology helping media and content industry to develop this type of content and services. The specific challenge which has been developed is the following one. As I told you, it should this RX technology should enable users to interact, cognitive and sensomotive activities. So exactly what I said before, and so it's really something which has a big future. So looking to the estimated market that we have in by 2025. So saying that most of the content will become interactive and so immersive. So helping, you know, people to consume content for media, for CCI, but also for tourism, for health, for training, and so on, as I told you before. So there are a number of verticals or of use cases that could take advantage of this new technology for specific use cases. It's true, obviously, for B2B market and also for mass market, because so both type of community could take advantage of this technology for specific specific use cases I told you before. So the scopes of the project that we have tried to identify, you know, are the following one. So first is to allow cheaper and faster access to a range of graphical and audio quality. So it's something key regarding the audio capacity. So it's something very key for the future immersive content, because if you are providing a 3D or holographics so video, so if you do not have the similar type of audio, so it will give you nothing. So and same as reverse. So the both are needs to go together, audio and video. So as you said, you're facilitating interaction with content, with natural movement, synchronized sensimotor perception, and so on. You know, there are a number of topics that should be addressed in this field. So broaden interaction context also, so with avatar, so using a specific type of representation to help so development of new types of content with augmented content and so on. And obviously, so we want to investigate also new interactive dimensions such as brain-machine interface, which is something, you know, which is in our mind since a long time, but today there are not still so big adoption of such of the technologies. So there are still a number of research to conduct in this field. And obviously, so the impact is to improve interaction in RX. with open access to a wide range of activities that I will do, not only media and content on CCI, but also any type of content that could be used by anyone. So in any verticals, and so we need obviously to fix all the existing problem of RX technology on psychoneurological disorder and so on, which sick and so on, which is also today the case. So it's more or less what I would like to share with you today. So I hope that so I was understandable. But anyway, if you now have any questions, so I'm more than well ready to answer those questions. Please let me know.
Hi, it's Nina again. I actually have a question, if I may. Was the NEM Vision 2030 affected in any way by the current global crisis we're facing today? I mean, was it downgraded or upgraded? And you also mentioned the tourism in 2025, and for me, I personally see it very uncertain in matter of what will be going on in the future. So maybe something. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, no, unfortunately, so this vision and so the strategic agenda has been So vision has been finalized. So in January, so this year, and the agenda in June, meaning that so we do not at all take into account the COVID crisis today. However, if you look to to this crisis and the impact of this crisis, I think it will reinforce so this type of application, because for tourism, for instance, people will have difficulties or have difficulties to visit some countries, to visit some museum, to visit some place today, and such technologies could also obviously help people, to visit remotely a specific site, a specific museum, a specific church, and so on. And I think it is a possibility, a huge possibility for this type of business to be developed.
Yeah, I thought so. That it's actually everything is very accelerated with the IT ecosystem. I have another one, if you let me. I'm very much involved in the creative industries, and I was reading about the artificial intelligence and how it will transform the creative industries in the next few years. And for me, it's very difficult to imagine that the artificial intelligence will participate in the creative part of creating whatever. But was that really going to happen? Is that possible for the AI to be involved in the creative part of what we do, actually, the humans?
Yes, so well, it was proposal from NEM members, to put this topic in the agenda. It's already true. So I don't know, but so we have so developed a position paper on AI on media, which is available on the NEM website that you can access. Obviously, it's free of charge. Most of the use cases which have developed, as far as I remember, is regarding journalism. Creative, in journalism, because it should help journalism to collect information or relevant information and cross-check information together in order to avoid disinformation, for instance. So that's one of the use cases. Now, for real creative industry, I understand, or I heard that in specific business, in games, for instance, there are also some people which are using artificial intelligence in order to better animate their character and so on. But honestly, I'm not an expert of this specific domain. But so I engage you, to look and to read this paper, which could help you, to better understand what people have in mind.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Any question? We have a question. Let me check the one, just a second to open it. So we develop, there's a question. We develop AI created a book suggested to the unique person, patron of public library reading history. Who could confirm us to start in real life? It's a legal issue.
Wow. Thank you for the question, but I don't know if I'm the one which is able to answer to such a question. I understand, yes. So there are some obviously some regulation. So looking to content with GDPR and so on, you know, and obviously, so all content and media should apply so to this regulation. And so yeah, I can't see any. I can't say anything else because, you know, I'm not a regulator at all. But so I engage you, you know, to look to the regulation. But I honestly, I don't know.
Okay. Thanks. Sorry, Vladimir. Any more questions? I see this subject very fruitful and but okay, if we don't have any more questions, the recording, this session was recorded, so I would love to just thank everyone who joined us today, and thank you, Pierre, once again. So the recording will be up in the community. In the link that I will share now in the chat. The next NGI Talk is taking place on 24th of November. It's going to be a panel with a few very interesting internet experts who will share their opinion on how to make the internet more human-centric. And you can then follow the news and updates inside the community. And that will be all. Please follow up with the event when it will be up during next week, and we can continue the chat over there next week then. And nothing, that's it from my part. Thank you, Pierre, once again for joining us today. Very, very interesting vision. Let's see what happens in the future.
Okay, so thank you very much. So anyway, so you have my mail. If someone is interesting or have some specific questions, do not hesitate. So I will be happy, you know, to try to answer. Okay.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you, Pierre.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.